Welcome, future defenders. We are jumping right into this explainer today, zeroing in exclusively on Lesson 7 of the CSRP curriculum. Our main goal? We're going to build out your ultimate incident response toolkit as you work towards that ISC2 CSC certification. Because let's be real, if you want to be a top-tier security professional, you have to get comfortable where the actual action happens. And that's the command line. So let's dive right in. Picture this high-stakes scenario for a second. An alert suddenly flashes on your dashboard. A critical Linux server has just been breached. You remote in to investigate, but there are no windows. There's no mouse cursor, no fancy icons to click. You have absolutely zero graphical user interface. You are literally just staring at a blinking cursor on a pitch-black screen. So what do? Well, if you don't know the command line, your investigation is pretty much over before it starts. But don't worry, by the end of this explainer, you'll know exactly how to handle a situation just like this. Just to quickly set the stage, let's recap where we are. In the earlier parts of Module 1, we really hammered down those foundations in infrastructure, networks, and operating system security. We talked a lot about how these systems work in theory. But today we pivot. We're transitioning straight from theory into hands-on investigation, with an exclusive focus entirely on the Linux command line interface, or CLI. All right, here is our escalating investigation framework for the day. First, we'll cover why we actually need the CLI, then navigating the Linux file system, searching and manipulating data, running processes and network checks, putting it all together, and we'll wrap up with the ultimate challenge, Linux CLI Master.
Segment 1. Why we need the CLI. Let's talk about the reality of being a SOC analyst.
You know, everyday users love a graphical user interface, right? A GUI provides that visual comfort we're all used to. It's fantastic for checking emails or casual browsing. But when it comes to remote incident response, it's slow, it eats up system resources, and honestly, on a lot of enterprise servers, it's totally disabled anyway. The command line interface, on the other hand, gives you raw, unfiltered speed. You get the ability to automate tasks with scripts, and you have absolute total control. When you're in the trenches actively hunting down a threat actor, you simply do not have the time to click through a dozen drop-down menus. You need the raw power of the Linux CLI. Moving on to Segment 2, navigating the Linux file system, or as I like to call it, walking the crime scene. Think of a breached file system like a literal digital crime scene. You've got to know how to walk around it without trampling all over the evidence. So these are your essential movement commands. And remember, as defenders, we aren't just blindly typing commands. We are actively hunting for anomalies. PWD stands for Print Working Directory. It pinpoints the exact folder you're currently standing in. Then you have ls-la. Now, this doesn't just list files. That -la flag is an absolute game changer because it forces the system to show hidden files. That's exactly where an attacker might stash a payload, like in a hidden .cache folder. CD changes your directory, moving you physically closer to the threat. And finally, mkdir and rm let you make evidence folders or remove junk files. Quick safety warning from our labs, though, be incredibly careful with rm. Linux doesn't have a friendly little recycle bin to save you if you delete the wrong thing. Once it's gone, it's gone. So how does this actually play out in a real scenario from Lesson 7.1? Well, you'll start at the absolute highest level of the file system by typing cd/ to hit the root. From there, you can instantly teleport back to your user's safe zone by typing cd tilde for your home directory. And finally, you'll drill straight down into your specific lab environment with cd/home/student/csrp labs/lesson 7. Honestly, mastering this kind of movement gives you so much confidence when you're suddenly dropped into a blind terminal. All right, Segment 3, searching and manipulating data. Time to interrogate the evidence. Okay, so you know how to walk the crime scene now. But what do you do when you stumble upon a massive pile of data? You have to interrogate it. And this brings us to one of the most powerful, brilliant concepts in all of Linux, piping. Straight from the curriculum, the pipe symbol sends the output of one command into another command. I want you to think of it like a giant data assembly line. You take raw, messy, thousands of lines long server logs on one end, pass them through a series of filters, and out the other side comes this polished, highly actionable piece of intelligence. Let's actually build one of these commands together, right out of Lab 7.2. Let's say our goal is to find and count brute force login attempts. Step 1, we use the command grep failed logs/off.log. Grep is basically our ultimate search tool. It digs through the log and extracts every single line containing the word failed. Step 2, we use that pipe symbol to catch all those extracted lines and immediately pass them forward. Step 3, we funnel them right into WC-L. That stands for word count, and the -L flag tells it to count the exact number of lines. The final result? That beautiful combined command instantly isolates the threat actor's footprints, turning a massive wall of text into one single actionable number. It is so satisfying. Right, so you have your hard evidence. Now you've got to properly document it. That's where redirection comes into play. You use the single greater than sign, greater than, to redirect your command's output and create a brand new report file. But, and this is a seriously critical skill for defenders, if you want to add more evidence to that exact same report later on, you absolutely must use the double greater than sign, greater than, greater than. That safely appends the new data to the very bottom of the file. If you accidentally use the single bracket again, you're going to overwrite the file and destroy all your previous evidence, so definitely watch out for that. Segment 4, Processes and Network Checks. Let's talk about securing the perimeter. So far, we've mostly looked at files just resting quietly on the hard drive. But what about the active, live perimeter? We have to be able to identify live threats that are actively running on the machine right now. When you run commands to view active internet connections, you're going to get an output with some really key columns: local address, foreign address, and state. As a defender, your eyes need to dart straight to words like listen. That means a server is actively holding a port open, maybe port 22 for SSH or port 80 for a web server. But you're also scanning for the word established tied to unknown, weird foreign IP addresses. Because an unexpected established connection, that could literally be an attacker's backdoor phoning home as we speak.
To actually spot those anomalies, you're going to rely on your core interrogation toolkit from Lab 7.3. You've got PS and TOP to view active processes. TOP is especially great. It acts almost like a live, updating task manager, making it super easy to spot resource-heavy malware. Then there's SS, which you use to check your network sockets and hunt for those unauthorized backdoors we just talked about. You'll lean on IPA and IP route to verify the machine's true network identity. And to round it out, curl and ping are your everyday go-to tools for testing if a service is actually responding and if the network itself is reachable. Segment 5, putting it all together, creating a real incident workflow. Knowing a bunch of isolated commands is cool, for sure. But real incident response, it demands a highly structured workflow. Following the exact scenario in Lab 7.3, if you are dropped onto a potentially compromised server, here's your playbook. Step 1, check your own identity with who am I, just to ensure you actually have the administrative permissions you think you do. Step 2, verify the network configuration with IPA so you understand exactly where this machine sits on the network. Step 3, actively inspect processes for anomalies using TOP. And Step 4, use that redirection skill we learned to document every single piece of suspicious behavior into text files. This kind of logical, authoritative, step-by-step approach, that is exactly what ISECC examiners and future hiring managers are looking for. Finally, Segment 6, the challenge, Linux CLI Master. All right, the training wheels are coming off. At the very end of Lesson 7, you're going to face CTF Challenge 7 Linux CLI Master. There is a flag hidden somewhere deep inside the Linux file system. And guess what? You aren't getting step-by-step instructions this time. You have to rely entirely on your own instincts. Can you follow the breadcrumbs, search through massive logs, inspect running processes, and cleanly combine your commands using pipes to actually hunt down that hidden flag? This is the moment you prove you've got what it takes. So, the absolutely crucial takeaway from this entire explainer is this. The command line is not just some clunky, outdated legacy interface. It is, without a doubt, your ultimate incident response weapon. By mastering how to navigate, how to manipulate data on the fly, and how to run active system checks, you're transforming yourself from a passive observer into an active, dangerous threat hunter. You are now completely prepared to go tackle Lesson 7. So the only question left is, what will you uncover in the terminal today? Good luck in the labs, defenders.